Good morning, my heart-stuck Smurfs. I wanted to go over solo queue because I've been solo queuing a lot recently and it's been awful. In this video, we're going to cover an underrated fundamental to ranking up in solo queue, using teammates to improve, the 60-20-20 rule, and a bonus tip at the end for players who really hate solo queuing. Enjoy. First thing I want to talk about is impact. Impact equals carry. Impact equals not relying on teammates. Impact equals ranking up. Impact is the number one thing that leads. It just means how much are your actions affecting the round. So if we think of first bloods are usually very impactful. Whereas if it's a 5v1 and you kill that last guy, it's not really going to do a lot for the round because it's 5v1. You didn't kill that guy, you guys probably would have still won the round anyways. So impact comes in a lot of different forms. I made a list of 5 of I think the most impactful things. First thing I think is trading or assisting with utility. This is because securing a kill or giving yourself really good odds for that kill is really strong, which comes the second thing, kills or damage. Getting a kill is obviously impactful. It helps change the odds of a round. Usually the first 1 to 3 kills are the most impactful, and then the last 2, not that important. The third, I think, is being positive. If you hype your teammates or pick them up, I think that really helps set a good environment. Obviously, there's 4 other players on the team, and you're not the only one who's like, God, I hate solo queue. Realizing the fact that we're all in this hellscape together. Number 4 is going to be intel. Intel can help dramatically, whether it's jump peeking, whether it's using some abilities. When your team is starved for intel, or if you give up too much intel, it can really change the outcome and how the round plays out. It's really important you're kind of playing active for intel. You're kind of thinking through the round, like, okay, we haven't seen them for a bit. There was one guy here. Maybe if I check here, we'll really know. Or keeping in mind where one player was, so you can save a piece of ability because that player can't possibly be there at that moment. The last one is going to be comms. I've talked about comms in the past. I know some other coaches talk about comms quite a bit. I think it definitely helps a lot of situations, and having someone calming and being that kind of positive influence definitely helps too. But I don't think it's a game changer, and a lot of times people pick the wrong moments to calm. So I think pre-round comms are the most important thing possible. Mid-round comms are kind of important when the team is loose. They're not really sure what to do. If you kill a guy A main, let's say, and then the team's 50-50 split on whether we push through A or whether like, oh, we killed this guy A main, let's go back B because the B guy's rotated off. That's what a lot of people usually think. So during those indecisive times for the team, it's really good to have someone be like, okay, run A. Just right after the kill, just like rush A off this. Let's go A, let's go A. Smoke for us, I'll flash out, let's go. What I just talked about after you get that first kill is an example of like a low pressure situation because you just killed someone. There's not a lot else going on. People usually make the mistake of like, they're in post plant, there's 3 people coming out CT and they're trying to calm a crossfire for the team or ask a certain piece of utility. There's definitely certain times where people are going to be a little bit more lax and ready to listen than these really high pressure situations. Also, like when the round is starting, people like to talk 5-man teams that do this where they talk through the pre-round into the actual round. They're still trying to talk through the game plan that they want to do. It's really important that the comms are kept simple, understandable. Think of it as you're in the Paleolithic period where you have to talk in caveman speak. 1B main, 2B main, no peek, start now, go. Stuff like that can really help a lot. The second big factor I want to talk about is focusing on your gameplay and stop relying on your teammates. A lot of people grab onto their teammates' actions and treat them as their own, or they over peak and then they let the odds of the round be determined by their teammates when they could have played safer and secured that round for themselves. So the biggest thing for this is use teammates as tools. Yes, I know they're people. Yes, I know we shouldn't objectify people, but your teammates are tools. You need them to win rounds, and the best way to use them is to try to read their body language, read what they're trying to do. For example, if Reyna has a flash out in their hand, she's probably going to flash out. You see your Reyna running towards spawn, she's probably going to peek spawn. And this will play into a later point we talk about. It's really important to try to use your teammates for what they are instead of what they're not. This is because teammates will always be bad. From Iron to Radiant, you will see the dumbest plays imaginable and you will wonder, how the heck is this person this rank? Why am I with this person? Gosh, I must be heart stuck. And the answer is there is no perfect game. You're not going to reach a certain rank and suddenly all these problems you have are going to go away. The best thing that will happen is it just becomes less likely. So the best thing you can do as a player is learn how to deal with these less likely but still common scenarios that happen. But if people really want to have somewhere to strive for, Immortal 3 is the place to be, and up where you will have positive teammates, positive comms most of the time. Not perfect, but most of the time. Anything below that, you will still encounter the same problems you always do. This is why I like to teach the 60-20-20 rule. This is a very common rule. I know a lot of coaches talk about it, but but I've got a unique little thing about this, okay? The 60-20-20 rule is that 20% of your games, your team will carry and you'll have no choice but to win. These are the games where you're at the bottom of the scoreboard and feel awful about your performance, but truth be told, your teammates are just doing really, really well, so good for them. The next 20% of games, your team will suck and you'll have no choice but to lose. Sometimes your team is just not doing their best, you're not doing your best, really difficult, and you guys are trying, you're trying to give out comms, you're trying to talk, you're trying to do what you can, but you guys still lose the game at the end of the day. It's important to consider this after the game and not during, to be like, yeah, this game we just lost, this is the 20% we already lost, when it's like 6-9. These two first rules are so important because they play so hard into the third one, which is 60% of the games your team will be mediocre and you'll have a choice on whether you win or lose based on your actions. This is where your performance matters the most. This is why your decision making, how you practice, this is where everything comes into play to determine the results of the game. So the 220s we let go of, or like it's just unfortunate, didn't go how we wanted, those games are done. You want to focus on the 60. The 60 is the big one. The 60 is the one that's going to make you a better player, because through the 60 you can think more about how you could have changed it. An easiest way to think about a 60% game is like an 11-13 loss or a 13-11 win. You can still think about what you could have done better in a few of those rounds to improve your game. And this goes into the very last thing for this, is you want to play to improve. Everything that happens, try to learn, because you need to keep in mind that your rank will always fluctuate, but your skill will only improve. That is the only thing that stays. Your rank will go up, it'll go down, it'll fly high, it'll fly low, you'll be hard stuck, you'll be soaring through the ranks, but your skill always goes up. If you think about the improve by 1% every day people love to talk about, it's the easiest way to think about it. The graph only goes up. You try to do your best and a little bit better each and every day, you're gonna improve. There's no way you don't. As a coach, we help make that 1% like a 5-10%, because we give very narrow instructions on the things that will influence your impact the most. This last point applies to a set amount of players. I don't think there's a crazy amount of people that do this, but I do see it happen frequently, even in Immortal Plus lobbies, is many players think there's a perfect way to play Valorant. And although some aren't wrong, many end up making the wrong decisions on what they believe is the better play, or they bring it up to their teammates in the live VOD review during the game. Oh, maybe we should have done this. Oh, Rinda, you could have flashed there. Oh, you had ult. We could have used ult that round. It doesn't matter, because the round is over. You guys are moving forward, so we gotta move forward together. Also, what I mean by this is solo queue is not a time to strive for perfection. It's not a time to strive for a perfect post-plant setup, the perfect comp, or even the perfect teammates. Many players try to secure rounds by playing incredibly passive, such as immediately playing for lineups after planning instead of helping the team on site. Even if you don't have an initiator, even if you don't have a sentinel, it's always a matter of adapting over theory. The best solo queue players are highly adaptable and not theoretical players. That's the truth. And here's my last one. This is a little bit of a bonus, but find a duo. Find some people to play with. This one comes from more personal experience, because recently I've been solo queuing, and I've solo queued mainly for 2 years, and nothing has really helped more than my mental at times than having someone else who's a positive influence in my gameplay. There is a caveat to this. You want to make sure you find someone who doesn't bring others down and tells others what they should have done, but instead tries to uplift the team or just mellows up your solo queue experience. So I'll be adding some features to our Looking to Play channel in the Discord to help you guys find a player who meets this criteria. I really like to use this to help you guys. And this could be someone who just chills and talks to you, or that you can work with to do team plays. It can really help games seem more manageable, and at the end of the day, remember, ranked is to improve and not to win, and the less pressure that exists, the easier it will be to enter flow state, which we'll talk about in a later video. So be sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz, and join our Discord. We're starting today. I'll be hosting free VOD reviews to my community every single week. You can join discord.gg/slayerkey. Bye bye.